Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where, as promised, I have gone through and refueled the Ascent module here with its liquid fuel. It looks like it's actually slightly not full, but I think the reason for that is because of the mining craft that I did not attempt to refuel via the save game editor. And of course the reason that this was happening via the save game editor was because we're having some major physics bugs with our mining segment docking up to our other segment. Now this would It's been doing things like this. It just jerks around randomly, although right now it seems to be stabilizing like this, so take that as you will. But it's docked up right now, and I did go through and refuel all of this. This did not get refueled, but that's okay. I think the only one that I refueled was this craft. Now, one thing we're going to definitely need to do is we are going to need to move these parachutes way on up here. They're not going to be needed for a while. And it was pointed out to me that if we can find an ocean somewhere around, we could drive over to the ocean and jump into it, and that should count as a splashdown. Unfortunately, with all of this atmosphere, it can be kind of hard to find an ocean. And, oh, actually, we might be able to see it better from underground. It looks like over this way the ground drops off. Ooh. Hello. That's water right there. So the question is, how can we go about getting here, or at least setting a marker to get over here? So we know that we need to go this direction, right? So this is going to be interesting, to be sure. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab our science rover. Do we want to have Jamie on this? I suspect so. And I guess off we go. This could take a while, though. Maybe we don't want Jamie on here because I don't necessarily want to do a return trip. So I'm going to have Jamie hop out and leave that seat. Excellent. And Jamie, you can run on over here and we'll just get you in. And then we'll see about getting this on over to an ocean, hopefully. Hopefully that'll go reasonably well. We just need to splash down. It doesn't matter where we... Whoa, okay. It doesn't matter where we splash down at. And we're going to grab on here. Excellent. And up we climb. Wonderful. We are apparently well underground with our camera here. And now we're popped back above ground. Fair enough. So this is refueled and, in theory, ready to go. We've got our docking port junior there for the refuel in orbit. With this design, we have successfully achieved orbit previously. So that is wonderful. We're not, of course, quite ready to head out yet, though. That'll probably be a next episode thing. Because I have a feeling it's going to take a while to get to that ocean. So let's make our way on up. And honestly, I don't know if we're going to make it to the ocean this episode. Maybe, but we'll give it a go. So up we go. These solar panels will of course have to be retracted before we leave. Maybe retract them now, in fact, or at least that one, so that we can climb up. There we go. And then we will board Jamie on in. Okay, so we've got our volcanic rock analysis. Fantastic. So now let's switch over to our Charlie module. There we go. And let's see if we can find that ocean again. Just figure out the direction. Okay. That honestly doesn't feel that far to me. So we know the direction that we need to head now, and that direction is basically the exact direction that we are facing. I'm going to turn us like that a little bit. And off we go. Fantastic. So we're going to cruise on over there and hope. We're going to hope. If we drive straight into the water, I guess we'll find out if these wheels propel us at all in the water, which they should, theoretically, as long as we float and we're watertight, right? Which none of this would be damaged by water if we just dropped it in water. So assuming that this doesn't sink, but if it does sink, then we might actually be capable of driving on the bottom. That'll be interesting. I have no idea what kind of power flow we would get for that. Also, I don't know if just driving in will be good enough. There's a reason that we're not taking off the ascent module yet, and this is going a little faster than I'd like downhill. I want to stick down below like 16 meters per second. Otherwise, I just feel like we're going to have some problems. Okay, we're decelerating a bit, so I'll go ahead and accelerate us. There we go. I mean, in theory, we're moving pretty good here. We're about 1 kilometer away already. So yeah, it moves pretty quickly over the surface. There's no doubt about that. The question is, how far is this water really? It was a pretty good zoom. There's no doubt about that. I would guess it's somewhere around... I'm actually going to up our speed limit to like 20 meters per second. I guess that it's somewhere around 30 kilometers to get there. That's my theory. So we're going to head on over and see if just driving in is enough to be considered a splashdown. If not, we could always drive back and then drive back there with a Kerbal and try jumping in. It's an option, but I don't know that it's a good one. So if we look at this, yeah, we can see here we've made it 2 kilometers thus far. And yeah, it's actually not all that far. I really don't think that's that far. We can make it this episode, I'm quite certain. And maybe grab some extra science on the way. That would be fantastic, because we're going to have midlands and lowlands between us and there, right? I sure hope we can make it up the hills on the way back in. I'm altering our trajectory a little bit here. I don't want to be in target mode. I want to be in surface mode. There we go. I'm altering our trajectory here a little bit to avoid these rocks. And let's go ahead and accelerate just a bit up to around that 16 meter per second marker. Looks like we're going to be transitioning into uphill here pretty soon, so things are going to start getting a lot slower. Indeed. This is a surprisingly stable design. There's no doubt about that. Okay, we're going uphill. Things are going to get a lot slower here. Now, I would normally want to physics warp this. There's a big possibility of issues with the physics, so I'm actually going to toggle our brakes action group, come to a complete stop. I'm going to quick save here just in case we have a physics bug. All of these are Highlands. We should have that science already. Okay, so just in case of a physics bug, and then let's... Now that we're far enough away from the ascent module that I think shouldn't be loaded, let's go ahead and... Ooh, I don't like 4x. Or 3x. 2x feels... quasi-okay, at least going uphill. 2x definitely develops a little bit of a tendency to turn to the right that I didn't really notice, at least to this extreme, in 1x. But overall, this does seem to help. You can definitely see that physics warp adds some questionable things to the physics. If we go back to 1x time, do we still have that drift to the right? Yeah, but it's less pronounced for sure. We are definitely drifting off to the right, but it is certainly less pronounced. How far are we now from the actual craft? We're about 4 kilometers away, and if we scout out ahead here with the camera, we can see we just need to get to the top of this hill, and then it's pretty much downhill all the way to where we're going. So that is interesting. We're going to go back up to x2 time to make our way up this hill just that little bit quicker. And then I'll quick save once we get at the top of this hill so that we don't have to redo all of this if necessary. Like if we suffer some damage from a weird physics bug. Now, if it's damage caused by me being dumb, then it is what it is. But if it's damage caused by a weird physics bug, then we'll just revert it. We're not going to accept that. So we need to get out of these highlands, and then it'll start sloping down towards the ocean, and that'll be great. And I do wonder if just driving into the ocean will count as a splashdown. Splash a vessel down into an ocean of Eve to achieve this goal. I don't know. Maybe. Now that we're starting to go downhill again, I'm going to go back into 1x time warp. And we'll just accelerate. And we're in this higher portion here for sure. You can see here we're about 4.3 kilometers away. And that's wonderful. If we were to zoom out here, we can see we're still in a heading uphill portion, but this crest that we're heading towards is the last real crest before we get to the water. I don't know if it's actually water. I feel like it's not. I feel like it's something else on Eve, but at any rate, we're going to head on up this hill. Once we stop accelerating here, we can hop into 2x time warp as we go up the hill. How are we doing on power? We're doing fine on power. That's wonderful. And we are going to hop into 2x time warp once we're below 10 meters per second, I think, or maybe 8. I think 8. We're actually accelerating right now, which is fine. Now we're decelerating. Okay, we're going up to 2x time warp here. We're only going up at about 3 meters per second. This is a pretty steep hill, so this isn't shocking. I maybe should have done this drive off camera, but this is my life now. So I kind of want to share it with the world. So yeah, we are approaching the crest of the hill here. And once we get that crest done, then it's downhill all the way to where we are going. So that's wonderful. And we should be able to see the ocean from the top of this hill, I think, unless there's too much atmosphere between us and there. Which is possible. I mean, if we look back over here, that's only 5.5 kilometers that we've traveled thus far. Actually, that's a pretty far distance. We've been making good time. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with this, and at the very least we'll be able to transmit back some reasonable data, but I'm going to try to bring as much data back to the Ascent module as I can here. And this time that we're spending doing this is kind of simulating mining to fill the Ascent module, is kind of what I'm thinking right now. But, this is not as long of a journey as I thought it was going to be, for sure. And it's also less long of a journey than I had bringing these guys over to the Ascent module, which took way too long. It took way, way too long. But we're almost at the crest of this hill now. And then there's very little left from there. Wonderful. Okay. I do hope that this counts for splashing down. We don't have any way to elevate this and then drop it into the ocean, so there's that. Like I said, I could go grab a Kerbal and jump in the water and see if that counts as a splashdown. I don't know that it does, but it would certainly be interesting. So this uphill portion is nearly complete here. Just trying to hold it at about that 45-degree marker. And going uphill is definitely the hard part here. Downhill, super easy. In fact, you almost go too fast downhill. I wish there was an automatic brake system in KSP where you could set like a max speed on the wheels where it would engage the brakes if you exceed that. That would be nice. But hey, here we are basically at the crest of the hill. Fantastic. we should be able to start moving a fair amount faster here. There's still going to be a little bit of a climb over here, it looks like. But we're definitely moving at about twice the speed that we were before. So that's great. And this thing is remarkably stable. I'm very happy with the stability of it. And we're definitely going to see what we can get here. If this thing ends up stuck in the water, then that's that. I'm not going to run a Kerbal out here. That's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. We can always drop something down into the oceans of Eve a little later on. We can send out like an expendable satellite or something, something super cheap. And that'll be fine if necessary. But I'm just hoping that we can finish this off here and be done with Eve. It's been a long mission. There's no doubt about that, but we've been making some good progress on it. We're nearly done with it, in fact. Once we're done with this segment, then it'll be time to make it into orbit, and then we're going to need to refuel in orbit from Gilly. And from there, we will, of course, be ready to head home once we have refueled in orbit. And that is going to be great. I'm not sure if it's going to take 2 refuels or what. And we might want to swap out our engines, actually, on the way home. It'll be interesting to see if that's a possibility. Okay. How close are we now? We've made it 7 kilometers. And we've got a little ways to go still. Yes, indeed, we do. Just trying to make our way on over this way. There we go. Come on, little rover. You can make it up this hill. I have faith in you. Excellent. So far, we haven't run across a hill that we can't make it up, so that's great. And like I said, I'd like to bring this back, but I will definitely do that off camera. I will definitely bring this back off camera. Okay, how much have we actually moved here? A decent amount, actually, over the surface. We've moved a decent amount. The Midlands and the Lowlands biomes are really, really small. I think we'll probably transmit the data from the Lowlands and the shores, and then on the way back we'll bring back Midlands data. Because we can only bring back one unless we want to make this journey numerous times, right? Which I kind of don't want to make this journey numerous times. It's a pretty lengthy one, and we'll have plenty of science from this mission. We're going to have a ludicrous amount of science from this mission. As it is, we'll likely have enough to fill out the entire tech tree. So that is great, and we're just going to continue to head over here. And yeah, it's going to start turning downhill very, very soon here. I feel like we actually need to alter our heading here. No, we're going the right way. At 90 degrees, we're going the right way. So we have definitely altered our heading, and this is the correct direction that we want to go now, just the 90-degree heading. So that's great. Let's make our way on over. How far have we gone so far? About 8.5 kilometers. Okay. Well, we'll just continue altering our heading like that. We should be almost done with this uphill portion. This is one heck of an uphill portion, though. There's no doubt about that. That is for sure. Okay, I'm going to make a quick pit stop here. Brakes should be on here. SAS off? Why are we rolling uphill right now? Our pitch appears to be stuck here. Interesting. Well, I'm just going to quick save here. There we go. And I guess our pitch is stuck now. So I guess that's a thing. I'm not sure why our pitch is stuck. And we're going to turn the SAS back on. Oh, brakes off. Brakes off. There we go. That's much better. Our pitch being... well, now it's actually moving more naturally. Interesting. I come out of time warp, and yeah, pitch appears to be working correctly now. Okay, well, we are beginning to move more smoothly now. That's great. We should be able to make much, much better time at this point. I do want to have brakes on a little bit. We're just trying to regulate our speed, not going over 20 meters per second. We're in Midlands right now. As I said, this would be what we'd bring back, but maybe we should transmit this in case we get stuck down there. So let's go ahead and bring it to a stop. We are going to allow partial. Bring it to a stop. There we go. And we're going to... oh my. I have no idea why our pitch is acting like this. I don't think it's SAS. Interesting. Yeah, we're back into that. Okay, what if we just do regular time warp? Okay, with regular time warp, we're good. So we're going to transmit a temperature scan from the Midlands. And that will, of course, complete our science data from Surface of Eve. We're going to transmit an atmospheric pressure scan. We're going to transmit a seismic scan. Possible seismic activity below the surface. Good to know. We're going to transmit a gravity scan. Not enough electric charge. We did expect to run out of electric charge here. So we're continuing to receive data. There we go. And now for the atmospheric analysis, but we need to open this. Okay. And we'll go ahead and open that. We'll grab our atmospheric analysis and transmit our data. Yep, we're not going to have enough electric charge. And that's expected. We're going to go to 5x time acceleration. And we're going to continue to upload this data. In fact, we're going to go to 10x. We're 25% done uploading. 50x. Okay. We're done with that. And off we go. We're going to close this. We're apparently using electric charge while we're accelerating, so I suppose that's not shocking. And now that we're going downhill, we're not using electric charge. Is this trying to set like some sort of a cruise control or something? I don't know, but I'm going to turn the brakes action group off for now. Whoa. Gear action group. Oh, hang on. That might be something that we can use to quote-unquote splash down. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on our speed here. I'm going to drop it down below 20 meters per second. When we're doing this, we appear to not have any sideways drift. Except for the drift that the hill is adding, which is kind of expected. We should probably slow down a bit, and then check our heading. How's that looking? So we want to be like there. Yeah, this looks reasonably okay. We're not that far away. We're really, really not. We're very close now. But we're going to want to grab some data to transmit back from the lowlands as soon as we can. So we're going to... climbing this hill is going to be interesting. But we're going to make our way on down this section. We're going to need to brake pretty soon here. And this episode might go over a little bit, but I'm definitely going to put us in the water. We're going to brake. There we go. We don't want to be traveling too fast over this surface. We are accumulating electric charge right now, and that's wonderful. Accelerating uphill a bit. I'm not currently pressing the accelerator. I don't know why it's, like, on cruise control, but whatever. I guess we'll accept it. We're moving pretty good. How far have we made it this episode? We've made it 11.4 kilometers. This hill is going to be a bit of a big one to make it over. That is for sure. I'm allowing us to build up a head of steam here because I know that we're going to be decelerated pretty dramatically heading up this hill. I didn't necessarily like that bump, but that was not so much an issue as it could have been a physics bug. Because that's just because the terrain is low poly, right? So up we go. And I'm definitely trying to accelerate us up this hill a bit. We should probably go up into X2 time as we go up the hill. I don't like the amount of movement those wheels are doing in X2 time. That's for sure. I feel like it's just a matter of time until they get broken. Okay, we're going to go back into X1 for now. Okay, it's this peak here, but we can see the water from here when we zoom out now. So that's great. But actually, I think I am going to put a cut in here. It's still going to take us probably another 20 or 30 minutes of driving to get there, I think, based on what I'm seeing here. I think we're roughly halfway. I underestimated how far it would be, but that's okay. So I'll get us there off camera, and we'll see what we can get. We're definitely going to grab the lowlands data on the way through, and we'll see what else we can get and if we can make our way back. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.